Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the hottest day that England has ever seen. I don't know about you, but it is jolly, jolly hot here. Um, Thank you so much for coming along to this Meet the Team Wednesday. We are doing this every Wednesday, meeting a different collaborator from the Tessa Bide Productions shows, past and present. I Normally we take our work around theatres and schools and libraries and festivals all over the UK and abroad. But this year, because of COVID, we're doing things a bit differently, including coming to you every Wednesday with one of these Meet the Team interviews. This came about because normally when I make a show, I'll rehearse it in situ in a primary school, and as part of our residency, we tend to kind of go around the classrooms and do a little meet and greet with the different professionals that are part of the team. And this has always gone down really well, not only with the pupils but also with the teachers, who have never been able to meet a theatre director or a composer or a performer, and it's been really interesting to share the kind of breadth of jobs that are involved in making a theatre show, not just on stage but also off stage. So today is a really exciting one. I've got a dear friend of mine, Eline Hallem, who's live streaming us all the way from Norway. Eline was in the production of Perfect that hopefully you might have seen. We've been streaming it online for the last few weeks, for the whole of this month, and yeah, we've been talking about it quite a lot. If at any point you want to ask Eline a question, then please put it in the comments, and we have a little chat at the end and I ask Eline some questions. So, without further ado, here we have Eline Hallem. Hi, Eline.
Hi.
Hey, pal. Coming live from Norway. This is our most
Yeah.
exotic Meet the Team yet.
Yeah.
How are you?
Got it. Good. Yeah. I just did a sort of walkabout thing with
Hat?
there was a sort of harlequin prison trumpet.
Amazing. Who were your audience?
Um, Children in the city centre of Trondheim. So they're doing sort of summer events for them. There's a bubble machine that was very exciting.
Wow. So what's lockdown situation like there? Are things kind of back to normal, or you're the kind of busiest you've ever been performing wise, haven't you? You don't seem to stop at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. So I think Norway shut down quite early on, and it's a smaller country and more distance between people. So the virus didn't spread as widely here, so it's been quite contained. So now it's back to. It feels like it's not back to normal, but it's still like you have to sanitize your hands and you can't gather in groups bigger than 50 people at an event. But like you can be 50 people at an event. So last weekend I did a show in a black box.
Wow. That seems completely alien to us now over here. But yeah, you kind of share your time between being in the UK and being in Norway, don't you?
Yeah.
But I guess it's worked out pretty well being locked down, kind of ending up in Norway for this. You've been so busy, haven't you?
So busy. I sort of almost is too busy, but it's been great. I'm doing this show that's kind of corona friendly, or like you won't get corona from this show.
Is that what it's called?
No, we're driving a bus around, and it's got a stage on it, and then we just like clap both in that side of people's homes or kindergartens or schools, and then that way we can keep everyone at a distance and keep people distance.
Great, and we've got some photos and things of that later, haven't we? I'm really looking forward to having a little rundown of your life and what it is to be you at the moment. So yeah, thanks so much. Over to you.
Awesome. So talking about my job.
Yeah.
I guess what I call myself is like an actor specializing in physical theatre, which means a lot of people go physical theatre. But I guess your audience will know a lot about that. What physical theatre is.
Some of them will, but for those who don't, if someone said, what would you then say?
What physical theatre is a typical. It's sort of more movement based. It's very wide term. You can use it for dance theatre or for like almost normal theatre, but you sort of focus on movement as much as text, I guess, or more. Or you can do mark shows, sound shows, so many things. I guess some people put circus in that category as well, but I don't know whether to do that. I guess so. My training is at a physical theatre school called École Jacques Lecoq, which is in Paris, and the Jacques Lecoq is the founder of the school and its pedagogy, and a lot of art people recognize the name because it's affected the contemporary theatre a lot. It's a very movement based research. You could show the first.
Yeah, I've got one up here that has a lot of backs looking at a stage in a big hall. Is that in a lesson?
So that's the Grand Salle, and that's where we do
big room.
Lessons. Yeah.
Thank
you.
I
guess what we do is you research movement in everything, and then you use it on stage, like what you learn from it. So you can research how animals move, or how people, like different kinds of people move when they're in different moods. So you can do abstract stuff like water or plastic moves, and then you sort of use it on stage to be like, what does this movement convey? What does it tell us, and how can I move in order to say this? Which it might sound artistic if you haven't seen it, but I actually think it's more approachable in many ways, because especially me, like I sometimes when I was a kid, I used to kind of struggle with very textual theatre, and sort of be more awake during dance sequences and when things movement. And so in that picture, we're using elastic bands to divide the stage. So the elastic bands are attached in the ceiling, and then we're like moving them around to divide up the stage space. And then once it's divided, you can place actors in between that to see how do you balance the stage well, and how to like use the movement quality of the elastic bands to sort of move from one to another. Like if you're moving a lot of people around the stage, or some people, but how can you adapt that to the stage in a way that's like nice to look at, and we're focusing on the right thing.
Great.
And I could show the other pictures as well. So what we use all of that research is that we do many different types of theatre, and like you can do mask work, or melodrama, or tragedy, or I can't remember.
I can see some half masks now, and a minute ago there was kind of you very tall somehow.
Yeah, that was when we were doing something called Mystère. It was kind of or mystery. It was kind of a research into creativity and like coming up with shapes and characters that's been out of this world.
It's a great photo. And is the teaching all in French?
Yeah, it's all in French.
Did you have to learn French for that?
Yeah. I didn't know French a lot before I moved to France.
Wow, that's a baptism of fire.
Yeah. And I was I was 21 and I was like, yeah, that will be easy, yeah.
To be fair, that's quite a French attitude. So, you're halfway through.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, mais oui, c'est facile. Sorry if there's any French people watching.
Your language is lovely.
So you were there for 2 years, weren't you? You did the full course. You do 1 year at Lecoq, and then they kind of decide if you can go through to the second year. Is that right?
Yeah, only half the class goes on to the second year.
Oh, it's like X Factor, but you have to pay loads of money, and it takes a lot longer.
Yeah. Exactly. And then I guess after that, it's made me a very adaptable artist. Because you're sort of thrown into things such as better or illumination, and they're just going like, right, this week do a masterpiece, and you've never touched a mask before, and then they're like, make something with it.
And you had to kind of devise a show every week, didn't you? I think we've spoken about this. Is that right? Is that right? So it must just take all the intimidation of making a show. It must just completely throw that out the window, because you're making one this week and you'll make one next week. So if this one's rubbish, then it doesn't matter, because you'll have another shot at it in a few days' time.
Yeah, exactly. So I think for me, because like I used to be very like in my mindset, like I need to get everything perfect for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
It was quite good for me to take that off and kind of not care too much.
Is there anything, that you would especially recommend about that experience, or that you regret, or you found difficult out of that experience?
I think for me it was primarily a positive experience. I think it was good. I think what I tell people is that they're curious about Lecoq and its philosophy is like, make sure you know enough about it and know about how it works and if that works for you, because for a lot of people it's very specific pedagogy and it definitely doesn't work for everyone. And a lot of people, like after the first year when they're not chosen for the next year, like they think it kind of makes sense as well, because they're like, I'm not learning through this method, and it's the same thing to go, oh no, go to Paris is good, but maybe going and enrolling in the school before you kind of know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's good anyway.
I flirted with the idea when I was about 18 or 19. I didn't get into UK drama schools, and physical theatre was always my where my interest lay, and devising was also where it lay. But lots of people said, give it a few years and wait till you're older. And then I kind of got in through other ways and started kind of training as I was learning. But you were incredibly young, weren't you, when you went, and you were one of the youngest, is that right?
Yeah, because you have to be 21, and I was 21. Or I think they make some exceptions. But I was one of the youngest, and I think definitely I was like, at some point I'm like, I don't have, because I was looking at my classmates who were in the late 20s or in the 30s or such, and just seeing how much they already knew, and so they were able to put that into the work they were doing, and therefore learning a lot. But at the same time, I think having a fresh kind of
You also
being
have to
a bit
unlearn
fresh.
things if you've learnt things already, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. Sometimes I was like, oh, I wish I could do this later, but then I know a lot of people who wish they did it earlier as well. So I think there's no right way to do it. But yeah, definitely not at 18. Like, definitely wait until you're 21, because you want to have some life experience and things to draw from before, and thick skin.
Yeah. That's crucial. So I can see on my next slide it says contemporary dance show. Didn't know you did that.
Ooh. Oh yeah, because I was going to talk about, I was going to do a really smooth transition.
Oh, please.
Into.
Can I hear it?
I can't even remember. About how that prepared me to do many different types of theatre that I've never done before, because I studied movement and I started applying movement to sort of anything I do. I've ended up doing a lot of things I didn't necessarily train for, such as contemporary dance.
So slick.
And what else is it? I did a half mask peacock thing. I guess that sounds very close to what I did. I did that show where it was a peacock walking around the festival. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, I can see a picture of. So hang on. So we've got the contemporary dance show. Do you want to talk any more about that whilst I've got the picture up, or shall I move on to the peacock mask?
Yeah, I think.
Who was the contemporary dance show with?
That was they're called Agder Teaterlaboratorium. They're doing residencies every summer where lots of artists gather and make things together. And that was last year, and the title was Stemning, which means the feeling of the plague.
Ooh,
and
it looks quite
about
plaguey.
Epidemics. It was all about epidemics, and
topical.
This year came. Yeah.
Can you do another one about pandemics going away, and then hopefully that will affect the situation?
Yeah, we'll do a sequel.
Thank you.
And then there's a mouse, maybe?
Yeah.
A mouse? Yeah, I was a mouse.
The cutest mouse ever.
I was doing a cartoony kind of mouse character, doing a lot of singing and climbing trees.
That was outdoors, wasn't it? In Norway, there was a little train that kind of went around the wood, and then you kind of jumped out of trees.
I forget that this is like, because I did a job for so many shows, I forget that this is an exciting thing. But yeah, there's a train going through the forest, and
I'd say that's pretty exciting.
Then I'm a mouse, and there's a fox chasing me, and we're kind of running along with the train, and they go in through different stages and places in the forest, and see the different animals and what they're like.
Amazing. And it was like several shows a day, wasn't it, over last summer?
Yeah, it was like 6 or 7 shows a day, so that was pushing it.
That's full on.
And I started like doing professional singing training now, but I started doing proper singing training now, but back then I was just like singing with your natural voice kind of singer, and my voice is hard. So I was singing like 20 songs a day.
And there's nothing like doing a run like that to then make you go, I could maybe do some professional singing training. Is there, you live and you learn.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
That would be good.
What's the next one?
The peacock.
The peacock. Yeah, I always talk about that one. That's fun. I did the wrong peacock sound. I did a really weird peacock sound because
Please, can you do the right one?
I can't remember. I can only remember the wrong one. we were watching a video of a peacock and it was making this sound, and then I was like, okay, I'm trying to do this peacock sound, and then people have later told me like that's not what a peacock sounds like. And when I've been like, I know how to sound like a peacock.
Yeah.
And then I've been shown several videos stating that the peacock I originally watched probably had an illness.
Wow, diversity among peacock representation, that's very 2020.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of mask walkabout, was it?
Yeah. Did I have more on that? What's the next one?
Next is perfect.
Perfect. So perfect was my one of the first shows I did professionally after my Lecoq training, and that was me playing a 7-year-old boy. So I also had to sort of study 7-year-olds. I was just like googling 7-year-old movement,
physicality.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that also part of your Lecoq training? Did they do a lot of child stuff there?
Yeah, you actually have to play kids, and I got a reputation for playing kids that died dramatically under a table.
Cool, that would have been a real twist to the perfect story. Thank goodness it was an adaptation of an existing book, because I don't think people could have handled that.
But yeah, I did do a lot of kids at school, so I was prepared for that one. I came in for the audition, I was like, this is my
thing. You absolutely smashed it. And you actually auditioned with one of your best friends, didn't you? And one of your company members, Jess.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, you've got the same things on your CVs. Do you know this woman? And you're like, yeah, do kind of know her, yeah. And you two were like you'd been living together, or like, in a company together. You're pretty close.
Yeah. However, it was quite cool because we were like just hoping one of us would get the part. And she ended up doing a lot of other cool stuff. It was quite weird, but I think because we're really good friends, it
was actually okay. Yeah. And then she came back for the Anarchists Mobile Library last year, so it kind of worked out. I've worked with you both now, which is an absolute treat. Just enjoying watching you be uncannily gangly in the perfect photos, which we will always remember from our Guardian review.
Exactly. I've got that on my resume.
I hope you do. Do you have a tattoo yet? And if not, why not?
Yeah, it's on my lower back. But yeah, also Perfect was like a show where I had to do something new, which was puppetry. Because it was puppeteering the tiny twist in it. And I remember on the audition, you were like, "Oh, do you puppeteer?" And I was like, "Yes, loads." and I've been in contact with puppets, and I've like taken puppets and been like, "Oh, this is how it moves," but I've never done a puppeteering show. But I think because both because you were quite good at giving me feedback and helping me with it, but also because they did the physical theatre training, I was just able to be like, birds, how do they move?
Yeah. And I always think with puppetry, I've worked with a lot of non-puppeteers in my shows that have ended up puppeteering, and it's one of those things that really you just have to kind of unlearn a lot of things and go back to when we were children, playing with toys and kind of making our toys come alive. But as soon as you start to overthink it and go, oh no, it was not on my CV and now I'm here, and it turns it into this big scary thing, but it's actually just playing with objects and telling a story with them, and I always think it's kind of teachable, really, in a process. So I'd never kind of take that from an audition and kind of go, "Rah, rah, no way."
Yeah.
You're a real quick learner.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and that kind of ignited, a desire to keep on doing puppeteering, which brings us over to the next slide.
Brilliant.
Where I did a show with a treated person puppet called Lucy, where we were puppeteering this puppet that was an old woman with dementia, and it was really exciting to work on, and I did sort of say, applying for the job, yeah, I've done puppeteering on this show, and I've done some classes and stuff since then, and then I got it, and then one of the other puppeteers was like the professional puppeteer with a bachelor in puppeteering, and she's done Warhol, and was just brilliant at it, and it's like, oh man.
You did a crash course in Bunraku in my living room, didn't you? Which I've actually made into an online workshop. Little promotion for that. If you guys want to learn Bunraku, or Alina, if you want to go back to those heady days when I was teaching in my living room, you can do that workshop now. It's on our Eventbrite.
Yeah. I think I called you and I was like, I need to learn to Bunraku puppeteer in 2 days. Can I bake you a cake in a day?
Yes, you can. Is always my answer to that.
What's the next one?
Then we've got cut mustard.
Ooh, yes. I also do device theatre. I guess a lot of my work is device otherwise as well, like working with you is quite device perfect. I got to make a lot of parts of the shows and come with a lot of suggestions for what happens, which is exciting. And Cut Mustard is my theatre company from Lecoq, and we kept in touch afterwards. We like working together and making theatre together.
How many different nationalities have you got in the company with the 6 of you?
Norwegian, English, Australian, South Korean. Oh.
Pretty international, I would say.
Yeah. It's really exciting to make work with them and to kind of keep at the craft that we learned from school, but also adding in new elements. And if you look at the next pictures, me in our space show.
I love your space show.
Yeah. Where I was playing this space hero person who thinks she's really cool.
Looks like every small child's dream to dress up in a costume like that and be that space hero.
I wanted to take that costume home so bad and walk around in it. You can ask my housemates, and they will tell you that I walked around at home in that costume more than I needed to.
Of course.
And I think creating theatre and making new shows is really exciting. I think performing is always great, but just seeing things come together and finding new solutions for things, music, creative part of your brain is so exciting, a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it comes up with really unique and fun results. Like I don't think you can't really do physical theatre from a script, right? You couldn't just sit down and write a script of it. It kind of has to be devised to come up with, that language, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it sort of needs to be free and malleable. Is that
yeah?
Correct word?
Yes.
Yeah. Because that keeps it fresh and alive, and when you see it, it feels really real. Like in Perfect, we sort of did many improvisations around different scenarios. Like I was just given a word or a title or a task, and then I would just go into character and start doing stuff and not really thinking about why I was doing it. And from that came a lot of
the material,
beautiful organic things that you wouldn't necessarily, like if you're thinking with pen and paper, you wouldn't.
If we've got young watchers who don't know what improvisation is, it's kind of trying out live, something live, kind of making up at the same time as you doing it, isn't it? You haven't rehearsed it, you're kind of making up as you go along. So that's what a lot of kind of devising comes from, doesn't it? Trying things out and then seeing what sticks and what looked good, or what was funny or what connected, and then trying it again.
Yeah, it's just like when you play, you never have a script when you play, and I guess that's another thing that you kind of forget as you grow up. You kind of need things to be scripted and such, and then if you things back at your childhood, you were improvising all the time. You were playing house or stuff at your home.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got a real change of scenery here.
Yeah.
To outdoors at a refugee camp.
Yeah. So I wanted to dedicate some time to the organisation like I'm working with right now. It's really exciting. It's called the Flying Seagull Project, and what they do is they create playful situations and spread a lot of joy and happiness and fun in refugee camps, and also with children in the UK and all around the world. Really, it's not solely refugee camps, but when I've been working with them, it's been a lot focused on the refugee camps lately, because there's such a need.
Yeah.
For it, and I guess there's been so much talking about it in the media. They sort of stopped it for a while, but it's still there, and the kids are like, there are accounts of kids going kind of apathetic and not being able to play anymore, and or going depressed or turning into adults too quick, so they start playing dangerous games instead of safe games. And what the Flying Seagull Project does is they try to create a safe, or they do create a safe environment for the kids to play together and have fun together and just be silly and have a childhood and have happy memories that aren't just tense and rain and such. So I'm really loving that work, and it's such a joy to come to camps. The kids are so excited, and we play some music, and then we do some circle activity games, and they get to learn circle skills, or they get to make artwork, like they get to make their own fairy wings, or go to the disco. Or with the teenagers, we had a sumo wrestling thing where we had sumo
suits. Fun.
And they loved it, and we were all dressed up like Fight Club style, and it was just a lot of fun, and they got to use a lot of energy, but in a safe environment where everyone's taking care of each other, and we're making sure it's all friendly and nice. And now that the borders are shut, they're not able to be there, but I've still been working with them afterwards, and that's the most of the work I've been doing after Corona. So it's a UK organisation, it's a UK charity, but it's now started. We've now started a branch in Norway as well, and if you go on to the next slideshow, that's pictures from that show. We've got this, like I said, this big blue bus that opens up to this colourful stage, and do a lot of fun, and a lot of the same stuff that we do with kids in refugee camps. So what was happening is we weren't able to go out and Bendik, who's the leader in Norway, he kind of figured that there's some big needs in Norway now as well, because kids were staying at home and people with special needs, who live in, those apartments for people with additional needs.
Yeah.
They weren't getting visitors because they couldn't, and they weren't getting the normal program. And also people in nursing homes were really lonely, so we were able to just drive up the bus and play music for them and do games and have fun and just magic and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun, and what I've been doing now, and it just seems like there's a big demand for it. Everywhere we go, people want us to come back, and we're getting new bookings, so that's really exciting. And what's more exciting is this is financing the work we're going to be able to do in the refugee camp and in other places where kids are in crisis.
Yeah, such a good model, isn't it? To kind of work in doing slightly more kind of commercial stuff in wealthier countries, and then using that money for these other projects. It's a really great system that they've got, and it looks really fun as well for you, and it's kept you employed during COVID, which I don't think many other actors could really boast of.
It's been really good to be keeping busy and to feel like I'm doing something that's a need for.
Yeah.
I think a lot. I think when the Corona crisis sort of struck, I was going through my head and going, wait, this is what I'm doing is not vital in a situation like this. Well, that was what I was thinking at the time. Maybe I should do something else so that, like, when there's a crisis, I can actually do something else than sit at home. But I think what we've seen is a lot of artists are amazingly adapting to it and being able to bring people joy and entertainment and art.
Yeah.
No matter what. And you can see it means a lot for people as well. Like the feedback everyone's getting, it's like, we really need this.
Yeah, I bet it's just helped so many people out and kept so many more people not lonely, and actually bring some joy in a very difficult time. It's a great thing to be part of. Thank you, Eline. It was so great to have a whistle-stop tour through your job and your career thus far. We've had a couple of questions in. Alex says, "What piece of physical theatre would you like to be part of?" So, is there a company or a show that you've kind of held in regard and kind of gone, cool, one day it would be great to work on something with them or something like that?
I mean, so many things. It's often when I go see a physical theatre show, I go, oh yeah, I'd like to do something like that someday. I think like Lecoq, people who went to Lecoq often look at simplicity theatre at International stage. I'd like to do that kind of work. I remember seeing the last show of theatre at International, the Wall of Silence,
Yeah.
which was incorporating sign language into theatre. So you sort of can't. I think you said, so I'm being Tessa Bide that you can't tell where the sign language stops and the physical theatre starts.
So wise.
And you can really tell that this was an important show as well.
Yeah, we saw that together, didn't we, at Bristol Vic? Yeah. And it's one of those shows that's, I think, is always going to stay with me as well. Well, you know, if George and the gang are watching, then you are available to come back to the UK.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we've also had a couple of questions from Alice. I think the first one you've probably answered. She wrote it a while ago. What have you been up to during lockdown to keep creative? I mean, you basically didn't stop, did you? You've literally been on tour the whole time.
Yeah, I'm going to have a week break now, and I still feel to saying it, but it's going to be so good.
Yeah, maybe you don't even have to be creative during that week. Just lie down somewhere quiet.
Yeah, I'm going to lie down.
And then she said, what's been your biggest challenge as a performer?
I think because you're in a kind of, the arts is sort of, it's always being critiqued, and there's always an opinion on what you do, and so I think I've struggled a lot, especially before, to sort of turn off my inner critique, to sort of remember that I just need to do stuff sometimes. Sometimes you do end up just stopping yourself from doing things on stage because you go, oh no, that wouldn't be good, or oh no, what I'm doing now isn't working. And I think it's a process, definitely.
Yeah.
And I know this is a process for a lot of artists that it might never stop, but I'm working on right now is just like to turn that off and just do stuff without worrying about what people might think of it.
Yeah.
Remember to do it, that I'm doing it because it's fun.
Yes.
I started doing theatre because it was the most fun thing I knew. And so I was like, having that as a job would be really fun. And then sometimes you forget and it's just a job and you need to do it really well.
Yeah, but actually that's the big kind of the magic kind of cycle of it. Like if you have fun on the stage, the audience have fun watching. You know, even if it's a sad play, you can still have fun kind of getting into that character, and the more you get into it, the more the audience will appreciate it and enjoy the performance. So actually, the more you don't think about them and the more you do just stay in it and enjoy it for the experience, the more people do end up enjoying it kind of as a consequence. So yeah, that's a really good learning cycle. I think one that every performer has to go through, really. We've got another question here from Torbjørn saying, having been part of such a diverse history of projects, what red or green flags have you learned to look for before joining a production? That's a good question.
Ooh, that is a good question. Yeah, because when you get out of that in the beginning, and then after a while you have to start looking for those red flags at some point. I think if you can avoid it, going to free work. I mean, if it's a passion project of a friend of yours or something that you really care about, or for a charity, that's different.
Yeah.
Like I do a lot of the work I do with the Flying Seagull Project is for free, or I donate a part of my salary because that's for a good cause. I can know that money isn't going to some rich person. But my experience with doing free work worked a few times I've done it, is if you don't value yourself with putting a price label on your work, then people don't value you as a performer, because doing free work, there are exceptions, but some of the worst experiences as a performer has been doing free work, and I've been really disappointed being like, I'm here giving my time for free, and you're not treating me well, and you're not treating my time with respect. Like, you're asking me to come to rehearsal at a specific time, and then I have to wait for 2 hours before you need me. Because they're not being serious, and they're not taking you seriously because you're not.
Because they have, and they have kind of less. They have less high stakes as well. If they're not paying people, you know, they can be like, oh, turn up at that time. We might need you. We might not, because they're not paying you by the hour or by the time that you're there. So, yeah, the stakes are less high, aren't they?
I think that's the main red flag. Like, even if you can get people to just cover your, like, I know it's really hard to say no to anything something else is drunk for, but even if you can get them to cover your expenses, or you know, give you a dinner coupon as a payment, I think that counts a lot for them in knowing that you're a professional, and for you to knowing to value your work, and knowing that just like my work and my time as a person is worth something.
My question that kind of came up during your chat was, there must be so many challenges that come from having a very multi-cultural and international theatre company like Cut Mustard. How do you overcome those challenges, and you know, does it stop you from making work, do you think, or do the benefits of having such a diverse group kind of outweigh the challenges?
I think both. It definitely gives us a lot to be a multicultural group, and you know, a group of people who we know we work well together, and we always let that feed into our shows, both in languages and different cultures and different ways of looking at things, but also like sometimes we'll have a misunderstanding between us that turns out to be a really funny. We put that in our work because it's a really funny situation.
I love it in your space show when, is it like one of your translation device isn't on or something? Can you just start speaking Norwegian, then it's like, oh sorry, I didn't turn it on, beep, and then you speak in English, isn't that? And the baddie is the South Korean performer, and she speaks in her native language and all the way through the show, and it just kind of keeps her very otherworldly, and you really use language as a tool for that story, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And the same thing in the show, we've started devising now, which is about the race for the South Pole, which is between the UK or England and Norway. So there we can use those different nationalities to tell that story, and and the different languages and the different cultures that we know well in between us. But it's definitely it is a challenge as well, because we do, not because we're multicultural, but because we live in different countries at the moment. So
you're all over the world, aren't you?
The UK. Well, we're spread between the UK and France and Norway. But that makes that if we're working, we have to get together and do really intense work, which I think is a good process that really works for us to do sort of residencies and such. But you know, such as after the we were supposed to be doing a residency now, and because of COVID, we can't do that, and we're not sure when we'll be able to do it. So there's definitely challenges with it as well, and I'll be honest in that, like, I won't pretend that it's not challenging at times. But when we get together, it's
and actually, maybe there's something about making time slightly more precious with you all there that makes it very concentrated, and it makes the shows, it makes your work high quality, because you know you're only going to get together if you've got a really strong idea. You know, you might make a show every 2, maybe 3 years, but you know it will be just at the right time, and you will have put a lot of work into getting there, instead of kind of churning out shows, you know, every few months or something that you could do if you were all in the same city. There's probably a lot to be said for that as well.
Yeah, exactly. And because we do residencies, like when we're together, we often stay together in shared accommodation, and it makes us very together as a group, and it makes it like we understand each other and each other's processes as well.
Yeah,
we're able to work together.
I'm going to wrap it up with a question that I've been asking most people as they've come on, which is, if someone's been watching this, maybe a young person or an older person who wants to change after lockdown, they go, actually, that's the kind of performance that suits me, and that's the kind of role that I want to do in theatre. What next steps would you recommend to them to do?
Ooh, from like not having done it at all.
Yeah.
Maybe just like seek it out. No matter what form. I think dance is a really great tool for conveying physicality and physical expression, but also anything. What I find is like any background feeds into your work. So find something that you like. If it's dance, a specific dance style, or if it's music, or if it's theatre, or if it's climbing, if it's acrobatics, or whatever you do, that can always, because I know when I grew up, I just couldn't go somewhere and study physical theatre as a kid.
No.
Like, oh, I want to do a physical theatre class.
Yeah.
Or a circus class.
In a small town in Norway.
Yeah. You just have to kind of use what's available to you. So, but even if it's sports or anything, I think for anyone to like get to know, this sounds so cheesy, get to know your body. But you know, get to know your body and how to express yourself physically, and be fond of movement, or playing with puppets, or just let your life inspire your work.
Yeah.
That will make it unique. And yeah, no matter where you end up, if you figure out that, okay, physical theatre or dance or sports wasn't really ever going to be my way of life, you won't regret doing that one thing or trying it out, because it creates an awareness about yourself and your body.
Great. What an excellent note to end on. Thank you so much, Eline. You don't have any more shows today, do you?
No, I'm going home.
Enjoy the sunshine.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. It's been such a treat to catch up with you and to find a bit more about your world. And I look forward to when you're back in the UK.
Yeah.
Take care, love. Bye.
Bye.
See ya. Before you guys disappear, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you've been enjoying this series of Meet the Teams. If you haven't seen any of our other ones, then please do check out the series on Facebook, or they're on our YouTube channel as well. We've got Nina Dunn, who's an amazing projection artist, video artist. We've got Lynn Edgwar Evans, who's a Welsh designer. Last week we had Georgie Shire, who's a fabricator. We've got loads and loads of interviews up there, so if you want to find out about loads of other jobs, then do stay tuned. Up here, this is our calendar of what we've got coming up on TBP's digital offerings. As you can see, we've got Perfect online that's streaming at the moment, and actually last week, as part of the National Refugee Week, we put our show A Strange New Space online as part of the Bristol Refugee Festival, so you can stream that online as well. And we're doing fortnightly workshops in puppetry. So far we've done a make your own puppet workshop, we've done an introduction to puppetry, object manipulation, and we've done a bunraku workshop as well, the one that I was telling Alina that I gave her a whistle stop tour of bunraku in my living room. That's basically what I've recorded for you guys to do as well. And then she went on to get a professional bunraku job. So who knows where it might take you. And then every other week we've been doing live storytellings on Sunday nights at 6:30 p.m. Last one was this Sunday just gone, and it was done by an actor of ours called Peter Moritz, who is one of our actors for the Anarchists Mobile Library. So we've got so much online for you at the moment. Do check out the website. It's tessabide.com, and there's a What's Online page with everything kind of collated there. So hopefully there's lots more to keep you guys entertained during lockdown, and to keep us going mad as well. And finally, just before I sign off, I'm just going to ask, if you have enjoyed any of this content, then please do consider giving to our fundraising campaign. We are doing all this content free for you, but I am paying the artists who come on every week to talk, and we're trying to do this to fundraise to keep our company going during lockdown. So if you've got a spare couple of pounds, we've got a buy me a coffee page where you can donate the price of a coffee, or 2 coffees, or 3 coffees, however much you have the funds for, just to keep us going during these tough months when we've lost all of our income from touring. There's a link that I'm going to put up now. If you're not able to donate, no problem at all, and it's just so lovely to be part of something with you guys here online until we can see you in the flesh. So thank you so much. Enjoy the gorgeous sunshine if you're watching this live, and I'll see you next week for our next interview. Bye.